Hello. This is the solution video for my next release puzzle called Colorful Christmas Time. As you can see in the description, this was originally a gift for a fellow setter, Timotab, whose son, Fast Sandals, is a solver as well. He's even made puzzles for Timotab, which is pretty awesome. And they put out a request for making puzzles that they could solve together as a pair around Christmas time, so I made this for them. And I waited for them to solve it and do their own video on it first before I uploaded this as its own thing here, hence why it's just now being uploaded, even though Christmas was about a week ago. So, let's open up the link here. Also, you may notice, obviously this might be a little out of order considering when you watch this, and I just all these updates now, but for a couple of my puzzles that I made, I included a second version that I'll be using for this one here, just to demonstrate it, but you can see puzzles like this where there's a lot of different colors at play. I don't know that much about color blindness, but I tried to be accessible, so I tried to include a second link that, as you can see here, has little text bits that clarify what color certain parts of the grid are. So blue dot here has a B in it, green dot has a G, etc. Yeah, as far as the actual puzzle goes, so we have normal Sudoku rules, we have German Whisper, we have killer cages, entropic lines, and the unique thing for this puzzle is non-repeating symbols. So each cell that contains a symbol, which are all the colored dots as well as the star up in the top there, which matches up with the cage down here, digits cannot repeat among other symbols of its type. And so what that means is if you had a 3 here, you would not be able to have a 3 on the other red dots. So you couldn't have one here already because Sudoku, but you could see Sudoku Maker, or rather Sudoku Pad here, is checking for not repeating among other dots of the same type. Same would happen with the star if you put a 5 up here, which it would never be because it's on German Whisper, but if you did that, you wouldn't be able to match it down there, and it would catch you for that. Everything else is standard, though, as far as rules go. So, let's restart and take a look at this. So, there's a good chance you've probably, if you've solved any other puzzles around this time of year, you've probably seen quite a few of these green German Whisper Christmas tree type puzzles. I joked in the Logic Masters post, this was sort of my obligation, that it was my time to make one of these. Tried to make it somewhat mostly interesting as much as I could, but also keeping it approachable. So, where we want to look to start with it is, normally if I was solving this, I would be pencil marking the whole outside of the tree just for the sake of it, but we can do a little better right off the bat here. We do have some cages that are worth taking note of. The 7 cage can only be 1, 6, 2, 5, or 3, 4. 12 cage can only be 3, 9, 4, 8, or 5, 7. And a 3 cage has to be 1, 2. It's the only way you can make that. And what that does is 1, 2 pointing up here makes this very limited on what it could be, given that it's not only has 1, 2 looking at it, but it's also German Whisper line. So here I will pencil mark this fully. All the possible digits that you could put on German Whisper are everything except 5, but it cannot be 1 or 2. But then further than that, this also can't be, neither of these can be 4 or 6. Because if you had 4 here, you'd have double 9 there, or double 9 here. Same with 6, you'd have double 1s either way. So you can take out 4 and 6 from here. And that is going to tell us the polarity of the German Whisper line now, because whichever, just based on the pattern that happens with the way this German Whisper is going to be alternating, these have to be the same. These are either going to be both low or both high, because they're 2 apart from each other. And we only have 1 low digit available, which means this cannot be a 3, it cannot be low, those must be high digits. And that is going to tell us the order of the rest of the thing. Oops, that's not the right selection. I'm going to go and just fully pencil mark all of this now, because this will be quite a bit helpful for visualizing kind of what happens here. So we have that fully pencil marked now, and there's going to be a lot of different spots where digits cannot go. So we already took out the 4 or 6s from here. This cannot be a 4. We'd have, again, double 9s. That's fine. 6 here is bad. 4 here is bad. 6 is fine here. 4 is bad there. 4 is bad there. 6 bad here. 4 is bad here for a not as obvious reason. By the fact that if you put a 4 here, you would have double 9 on the red dots, and we can't repeat. 6 is bad here. 4 is bad there. 6 is bad here. No, those are fine. And so now that is going to give us quite a bit of info here, because we now have a 1, 2, 3 triple here, so that has to be 4 with double 9 there. Take out 9 from here, that's going to do some work over here. I'm pressing all the wrong buttons here. Actually, I think that's all we can do on the German Whisper for now. No, we can do a little better. We can do the fact that we have a 6, 7, 8, 9 quadruple up here, and 6 has to be on the top part, which means no matter which one is 6, the star up here is going to have to be a 1, because either way it's going to be bordering a 6. Now, the power of that is we now know the value of the star, which means the other star down here cannot be a 1. That must be a 2, that must be 1. That's also going to take out 1 and 6 from over here. Now, it's not as obvious kind of where to look next exactly, but we should look at the entropic line next. And so if we review what that means, any set of 3 sequential digits along a beige line must contain a low digit, a medium digit, and a high digit. So we're going to have this sort of pattern like that, where every 3 cells along the line will share the same, I don't know if polarity or modularity is the best word here, but either way it's going to be a low, medium, or high in the same sort of repeating pattern. And so means whatever is in green, which is whichever one we determine this to be, low or medium, because 1, 2, 3, or it's a 4, would have to have the same thing down here. These cannot be medium, because if they were medium, they would both have to be 4s, and that would break Sudoku. So we could say those must be low 1, 2, 3s, and that would also have to be a 1, 2, 3. And the star works that out now, because we have the 1 from this star looking down, and the 2 from this star looking over. So that must be a 3. Which takes out 3 from both of those. And that gives us a 1-2 pair on the white dots. And that is going to be what's going to crack the rest of the German Whisper in. Because 1-2 pair on a white dot means this cannot be 1-2. That must be 3. Now we can watch this unfold and do its magic. Because 3 comes out from all of these. Get a 1-2 pair here, so we get 4 and double 9 there. Either way here, one of these will be a 3, so this can never be a 7. That has to be 8. Which makes that a 7, because we cannot repeat. 7 and 5 come out from there. This is a 6 with double 1. That becomes a 2 over here. 2 here. Additionally, this being a 7 means this would never be a 3. That gives us 1-2 pair here, which gives 8. And this being a 3 means this has to be 8. That's 6. Means the double 1 goes over there. 2 down here. 8 and 4 comes out there. I believe that's the whole thing. No, we still have this, which is still ambiguous for now. But we now have the majority of the perimeter filled in. So now we could maybe see what info did we get out of all that, other than the fact that we just obviously got a lot of digits placed. We have most of the dots filled in now, so it would make sense to maybe go and pencil mark the red dot in the center here. And we could either try to do this the old-fashioned Sudoku way, and we could see that it couldn't be a 1, can't be a 2, can't be a 3 by Sudoku, can't be a 4 by Sudoku, could be a 5, cannot be a 7 or an 8, it cannot be a 9 by Sudoku, so it seems like that could be either 5 or 6. Where's the 6? Oh, this 6, I missed that one, that dot. So this has to be 5 now. This one, I'm just going to pencil mark that in to be a little quicker. This has to be a 3. It's the only thing it can be, for similar reasons. Blue dot up here is probably going to be just as heavily restricted. It can't be a 1, 6, 7, 8, or 9, so that's 2, 3, 4, or 5. Can't be 3, 4, or 5, so that's 8, 2. And maybe pencil mark in the rest of this box now. We need a 3, 4, and a 5 up here. 3 is not placed up there. That's a 4 and a 5 here. That's going to now give us the 12 cage worked out. And that now resolves the remaining part of the tree. And that about does it for all the dots except for this one here. So now would be a good time to maybe ask, what's the kind of pattern here? Is this going to be medium, where it could be a 4, or is it high, which is not, because it can't be 7, 8, or 9. So that tells us orange is medium, so that's a 4. This is also going to be medium. It can't be a 4 because we have one here. So that's either 5 or 6 with it. These will both be high. This one has to be 7. That cannot be 7. 4 comes out from here. 3 comes out from there. We have 2 remaining things that might be worth pencil marking here now. We have 5, 6, 8, and 9 missing. That can only be 8. 5 and 8 come out from there. This is a 9, 6, and a 5. And just like that, box 8 is now figured out. We are getting pretty close to being done here. I'm more or less kind of breezing through this because the majority of this was really just getting the German Whisper part done and then just kind of doing classic Sudoku logic, really, with the dots minus the non-repeating aspect. This column needs a 7 and a 9. This column needs a 1 and 8. And over here, we are only missing 2, 4, and 6. And so now the middle 3 columns are done. The next weakest looking spots, I would say, are, let's maybe look at these side boxes. We have 3, 5, 6, and 7 missing over here. 3 comes out from there, but this just has to be 3. So that's a 5, 6, 7 triple that's unresolved. Over here, we have 1, 5, 6, 7 missing. Totally unresolved still. Maybe this row. This row is only missing 3. We need 4, 6, and 8. That's not resolvable quite yet. Trying to remember where to look next, because I actually haven't solved this in a couple days. This column's missing a bunch. We need a 4 and 6 in this column. Okay, and we know the order of that. That gives us 6 comes out from there. The 4 is going to unwind the cage here. That gives us 6, 7, 1, and 5. I actually, now I'm remembering, I placed this cage here because of the power it has there. That getting the 4 here unwinds it, and that unfolds the middle couple rows, and that makes the rest of the puzzle solvable. So let's finish off this row now. We need a 3 and a 7. That's just 3 right off the bat. That's 7. This box is missing 5, 7, 8, 9. And that's going to fill itself in. Because we have now 9 comes out from here. 8 and 7 go there. 4 here. 6 and 8. This box is probably going to fill itself in too. I'll do it one row at a time just to be safe. We have 3 and 8. This is 1, 4, and 6. Doing this sort of approach is really good practice for scanning. I could just be slamming in all the pencil marks here, but I'm trying to get better at doing the kind of scanning the grid part. 5 and 7 here. This is 2, 4, 2, 3, 4, and 9. It's 2, 4, 9, and 3 up here. And I reckon doing this will work pretty well here. We need a 1, 2, 8, 9. And that's 9, 8, 2, 1. So yeah, like most of my puzzles, this is only 1 star, so this is probably not too difficult if you're already comfortable with everything, and hopefully it's just a quick little post-Christmas gift, or a little quick solve. I like the whole non-repeating symbol part. That's something, I don't know if I'd mess with it again, because I think it's probably a bit hard to do that in a way that isn't either really trivial or like really difficult, and I don't really like making super hard difficult things. And I've kind of had my fill of making an easy one with this, but it's certainly an idea I might mess with more in the future, because at least it is kind of fun. Yeah, thank you for watching.